I got you, babe. I got you, babe. They say our love won't pay the rent, for it's earned, our money's all been spent. I guess that's so we don't have a plot, but at least I'm sure of all the things we got. Babe, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. I got flowers in the spring. I got you to wear my ring. And when I'm sad, you're a clown. And if I get scared, you're always around. So let them say your hair's too long, 'cause I don't care. With you I can't go wrong. Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb. Babe, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. I got you to hold my hand. I got you to understand. I got you to walk with me. I got you to talk with me. I got you to kiss goodnight. I got you to hold me tight. I got you, I won't let go. I got you to love me so. I got you, babe. 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 I got you, babe.
Groundhog Day!
Groundhog time.
1,000 people freezing their butts off waiting to worship a rat.
Weatherman Phil Connors is spending the day in Puxatawney, Pennsylvania.
Phil? Ned! Ned Ryerson, I did the whistling belly button trick at the high school talent show.
Bing!
Bang!
But Phil's about to find out he's not just stuck in Puxatawney.
Will you be checking out today, Mr. Connors?
Chance of departure today, 100%.
He's stuck
It's Groundhog Day!
in Groundhog Day.
I'm reliving the same day over and over.
Phil?
Ned Ryerson?
Bang!
Do you ever have deja vu, Mrs. Lancaster?
I don't think so, but I could check with the kitchen.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
At first, he was a little anxious.
Phil? What?
Will you be checking out today, Mr. Connors?
I'd say the chance of departure is 80%.
But now,
We could do whatever we want.
He's discovering the possibilities
Don't you worry about cholesterol?
Why?
and living life like there's no tomorrow.
Phil Connors!
Ned!
Because there isn't.
I am an immortal. I have been stabbed, shot, burned, frozen, electrocuted. I'm a god.
You're God.
I'm a god. I'm not the god.
He's out of his gourd.
But to get what his heart wants most
What are you looking for, Phil? A date for the weekend?
means living this day over again till he gets it right.
Believe it or not, I studied 19th century French poetry.
What a waste of time.
I studied 19th century French poetry.
La fille qui j'aimerais.
You speak French.
Oui.
Bill Murray, Andy McDowell,
To the Groundhog.
I always drink to world peace. Well, what should we drink to?
I like to say a prayer and drink to world peace. Don't drive angry. Don't drive angry.
He might be okay.
Groundhog Day!
life has a funny way of repeating itself.
What did you do today?
Oh, same old, same old.
There we go. I was on silent the whole time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do that again. Yeah. No, this is live. No sound. Okay, cool. I know you guys can't lip sync. Anyway, let's start over. Groundhog Day came out on my birthday, February 4th, 1993. I love the movie, not just because it came out on my birthday, but because of the fact that it's about being in some kind of loop. We just came out with a presentation on the Patreon. If you're a member over there, thank you so very much for your support. A big one. It was on the topic of artificial worlds. Are we living inside of an artificial world? My friend Nigel from The Devil's Playground passed away last year or the year before. He stated that we're living inside of a copy. This is a copy world. And then you get into theology, and of course, this is the world you go to that's about sinning. You get thrown out of the Garden of Eden, and you go into the world of sin. It's interesting with theology, though, because that world was already created. unless God created it on the fly. But he told them, if you eat from the fruit of the tree of knowledge, you're going to positively die. So that's alluding to the fact in theology, allegorically, of course, that the world that we live in was already created. It doesn't make any sense any other way. So Groundhog Day, do you think we're in a loop? Well, I'm going to show you. I have over 130 slides. I'm going to show you with massive amounts of discovery to support. So some of you, you will use the word prove. It will support. I don't like using the word prove, but I will support that we live through not only fate and destiny, but we're living in some kind of loop. In the movie in Groundhog Day, obviously, he was in that loop. He was an asshole. That was the whole takeaway, is that the writers wanted to get across, don't be such a jerk. But then, of course, he learns all these things to persuade and manipulate, becomes the good guy, ends up having sex with Andy McDowell, the woman, and then wakes up and finally gets out of that loop. But does he really get out of the loop? As time moves forward, what happens? So that's what we're going to talk about here today. Bring your questions, bring your comments. Save them till the end, till I get done. You can chat amongst yourselves. So I'm going to be looking at all of your comments. Thanks everybody for being here. This is a very interesting time that we're living in right now. I think things are about to get crazy. That's for a different story. But nonetheless, let's begin with this presentation. Are you ready? Here we go. Now, we already did this presentation. We already did Groundhog Day. So this is why it's again. But of course, the Groundhog Day that I did was many years ago. So this is with a brand new set of eyes. A lot more combinations and connections. This is the most advanced that we are doing in the world of decoding. So let's get into the methodologies, because I know some of you that are going to join in and watch this are not familiar with how we are doing what's called forensic decoding. I'm a forensic decoder. Like a forensic detective that goes to a crime scene, well, there's clues that are left behind, DNA, blood samples, whatever, and you can take those and you could start to measure them out using scientific tools. And these are our forensic tools here. These tools, they leave behind footprints. So this is in no particular order. Let's start up here in the top left. Yes, we're going to be talking real science during this presentation. We're going to be bringing in and connecting the periodic table, the elements, alchemy. We can instantly and automatically show you how the methodology works. See the 22 protons for titanium? Well, you go into numerology, and we're going to use Chaldean primarily. I think I may have some English in here, but I'm going to primarily use what I learned to discover the most accurate numerology cipher there is to discover how the narration of the spells that we speak work. And you can see that the word recycle, which was about Groundhog Day, ties to the 22nd element, and it just so happens to be titanium, and this is from the word Titan. This goes into Greek mythology, where you have the Olympians kicking out the Titans after the war, and the Titans being cast down to Tartarus, which is the prison. And we are essentially in Tartarus. We can also connect the playing cards. This is the 22nd playing card, the 9 of clubs, and the 9s are the number of repetition. The 9. Any number you put next to the number 9, it's going to repeat it. 22nd card, 22nd word, 22nd element. See how all these things connect? And then we add in the tarot. Card number 31, it's the 9 of wands. This is the card of the wounded warrior. That's the Titan. Still standing. Life after life after life after life after life. Incarnation after incarnation after incarnation after incarnation. We're also going to be bringing in theology. Harold Ramis was from a Jewish descent. You're going to see that for sure. We're going to be bringing in astronomy. I'm going to show you real things from the planetary positions. We're also going to be looking at the astrological aspects of Groundhog Day. This will blow your mind. And we're also going to add in the amazing human design. And I'm going to show you how all of these systems, they fit together like putting a puzzle together. And these are our tools of forensic decoding. So, let's start off with the director, co-writer for the screenplay for Groundhog Day, Harold Ramis. Born on the 21st of November, passed away on the 24th of February. There are some clues here in his birthday. February 24th on the Gregorian calendar is 224. And 224 is a big clue because that is the orbital period of Venus. And Venus is about spirit into matter. I ran a contest on the Patreon. No one got it. I had hoped someone would get it, but that was the one thing that was missing. I'm going to show you that in a little bit for this presentation. So let's start off with the cards in Harold. What you're looking at is ground zero for the card system. The playing cards, there are 52 cards in a deck, 52 weeks in a year, 4 suits, 4 seasons, 13 cards per suit, 13 weeks per season. Those of you that know this card system, it's an oracle, as Sharon Jeffers, the great card reader, says it is. It is. It's embedded into the prison planet. It's embedded into 52, which is Tellurium. Well, Harold Ramis, being born on November 21st, his card is the Queen of Hearts. And I have it highlighted there. It's sitting in a very special space. It's sitting horizontally and vertically in the space of Poseidon. Poseidon is the god of water. Poseidon is the god of earth. Poseidon is Brahma in the Vedic. And Poseidon governs the maritime law. That's why we're at maritime law. That's why you have a live birth, a birth certificate. Poseidon's domain. You see the pitchfork right there, right? That's the devil's pitchfork, the trident. Well, he's got the Queen of Hearts, which is the Queen of Dreams, card number 12. And over there to the left, on the spirit side, sitting in that same spot, is the card of Groundhog Day. The official Groundhog Day is 2 days prior to when the Groundhog Day was released, February 2nd. The 10 of Spades. So as you can see already, we're off to a huge scripted reality start. And maybe Harold's a fan of the cards. I don't know. Maybe that's why. But Groundhog Day is not something he created. It's something that was already in the tabloids. It was already created. So Harold would have to have premeditated this position, had the idea of Groundhog Day, and then said, oh, wow, my spirit card is the 10 of Spades, which is the card for Groundhog Day. See, I don't buy that. You can become a fan of this system, but again, Groundhog Day was created with or without Harold Ramis or Ramis. He's got the word Ra in his last name. You guys and gals know what that Ra is. So again, here, I just want to be clear. Here's the birth chart, right? Here's February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and then here's Harold's birthday, November 21st. Just so you can see, I'm being very transparent, okay? I just want to make sure that all of you know that I'm not doing any magic here. We're doing forensics, decoding. That's what we're doing. So, Harold was 48 years young when he released Groundhog Day. Here's the calendar. Date-to-date calendar. I'm using timeanddate.com. And Solar Spread 48. I'll leave in the description of this video when I finish. I'll leave some of the links that you can click on so you can see the charts if you want to start to play around with them yourself. But Solar Spread 48 is ruled by Poseidon, aka Neptune. And Poseidon, your Poseidon card is going to sit right below you. course, there's Harold's Queen of Hearts, and right below him is his Poseidon card. His card is the Poseidon card. And now we have a storyboard to look at. Is that the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Hearts, the Queen of Cups being card number 48 in the tarot. He was 48 when he released Groundhog Day. Well, the Six of Hearts is tied to the 42nd card in the tarot. And now you have Douglas Noel Adams and the answer to everything. The answer to everything, ladies and gentlemen, is the number 6, which is not only the last day of creation in Judeo-Christianity, it's the first perfect number in mathematics. It's tied to the element carbon. We are carbon-based life forms. And it is the child that has no idea that they're going to reincarnate again and again and again. See, so right off the bat, I don't just have it here, him having the Poseidon card, him literally creating Groundhog Day based off of the ideas given by Poseidon, however that looks, but his Poseidon card is literally the baby. The word baby in Chaldean numerology equals 6. 6 is tied to Virgo. Virgo is the largest constellation, and Virgo is the virgin. And this is where Jesus comes in because he was born of a virgin. This is the card of December 25th for Christmas. Just go back up here. Here is December 25th right there. I know you can't really see it, but there's December 25th, the Six of Hearts. Okay? This is how dialed in this system is alone by itself. Just doing this, we could spend hours just showing all of the layers to Harold's chart and solar spread number 48. And what about this connection? The two actors, the actress Andie MacDowell and Bill Murray, the great Bill Murray, here are their birth cards. They're both born on the 21st. In the major arcana, that's the world card. Andy's got the King of Clubs, card number 26, and Bill has the Three of Clubs, card number 16, and when you add them up, you get 42. See how dialed in? Just starting this thing off with a bang. Just the cards alone, folks, are mind-blowing. And again, to premeditate all of this with your age and your birthday, folks, I know how busy your life is. My life is busy. To sit down and consciously premeditate all of these layers like this, I find it to be absurd to think that's the case. So let's get into the film. Remember, it's February 2nd, over and over. Of course, February 2nd can be, on the Gregorian calendar, 12-2, a 2-2. And you remember what that 2-2 is? Recycle. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. Harold comes from a Jewish descent. And his last name has the word Ra in it. Ra. So here's the astrological chart. I'm using the most accurate numerology system in the world today, bar none. Because this system, called masteringthezodiac.com, it combines tropical astrology, which is the 12 houses, with the true sidereal, which are the accurate measurements. The sizes are all different. This is going to change for everybody if you're not used to this system. This will give you complete transparency and accuracy and precision on your astrological chart. And then we put it into the human design system. And we have given the human design a much needed upgrade, because human design is based on tropical, which is a little off. This is the most precise system because we're using the true sidereal into the human design, and we're adding in the elements of the periodic table to get another extended layer beyond what the gates mean. This you can find on the spotlight.life website. You could use this course, you can plug yours in, you can start looking at your placements and get true accuracy. But anyway, you notice the arrow there. I have Jupiter, Zeus, the largest of the planetary positions. And Zeus which has the 42 in its marker. It has the 2, it's got the 4, it's got the 1, it's got the 241, but it has the 42 there, obviously. But it's sitting in gate number 47. And February 4th, 1993 is tied to 47 because the card that is associated with that is the 47th card, the 8 of spades. Again, this is my birth card. So there it is right there, the mighty Zeus. The Zeus may be having the dream. And 47 is tied to not only silver on the periodic table, and what is silvering? What is the clue here? You're on the silver screen. You're inside of a movie. Christoph said it to Truman. You're on television. That's the silver screen. Hollywood was known as being on the silver screen. And the 47 is also tied to that 22nd element, titanium. And what this is saying is that we are the titans that are trapped on the silver screen. And we are stuck inside of a scripted reality. That's why when you do the forensics of your life, you'll find the trail that you leave behind all connects and is scripted. The 8 of spades being tied to February 4th. Card number 47. It's card number 58. And I don't think it gets any more clearer here on what the 8 of swords means. This is card 58. Belly of the beast in Chaldean is 58. I could go on and on with that. There's many more layers in here. It's a team effort. It's not just Zeus, and I'll be showing you more as we go along. But let's continue on with what this means through theology. Well, the word fruit in Hebrew, pyri, or piri, is 47. So what this is alluding to is if you eat the fruit, you will get trapped. And what does this mean? Well, again, it's not just the 8 of spades, which this is the card of Groundhog Day, but it's also tied to the Titan through the 47 isotope of titanium. So the Titan is trapped on the silver screen and it gets recycled over and over. Remember, February 2nd is on the Gregorian calendar 2-2. The Titans being stuck inside of some kind of scripted reality. So the theology fits right into this. And I'm not trying to make this work. I'm not trying to make this fit. This is a legitimate word in Hebrew. Go look it up. I would want you to be a skeptic. Don't just trust what I'm showing you. Go do the research yourself. And what you'll find is what I'm showing you has a ton of merit to it. Whether or not this is allegorical, it's telling you the realistic aspects, perhaps, of what we're inside of. So then we go back to the card charts here with Harold's, and I'm going to put his card in the Master Spirit side now. And he's located right here. And over here is that 9 of clubs on the Master Life spread. So isn't it clear here that this man who co-wrote with Daniel Rubin, and you're going to see him in here, the Groundhog Day, he was born on the 21st. Bill Murray's born on the 21st. Andy McDowell's born on the 21st. What's up with all these 21s? 21 is the letter Shin in Hebrew, which is the dualistic letter because it's sin and shin. Shalom and sin. That letter is multiversed because it represents duality. But clearly, ladies and gentlemen, another marker here. That, to me, it's a humdinger, man. Okay? This is the Queen of Dreams. When you follow your dreams, that's what the universe, that's what the Matrix wants you to do. Follow your dreams. Does it just recycle you back in as a player on the board, as the Titan? Living out a loop through the Groundhog? Well, let's continue. Let's get into asleep and awake. These are the two cycles that we live under. When you go to sleep, melatonin kicks in and you start to get tired. When you wake up and light hits your eyes, the melatonin turns off and you rise up and you become awake. This was what time it was when he woke up. And I want to be clear here, ladies and gentlemen, because this is so easy if you didn't see it. What number is at the far left? Well, it's 6, right? And if we just go back up here to the 6 right here, this is what he keeps waking up to. He keeps waking up to 42. And these two are 42. This is the end scene when he wakes up and he's like, something's different. Because this is love is the trap. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to show you because there's Venus energy in here. But 6 in Hebrew, the Hebrew gematria, those of you that like to use the full main system, when you look at this, it matches this. Remember, there are 6 days of creation in Judaism. 6 a.m. A lot of you get up at 6 a.m. Well, why? Because you follow the patterns of light. You follow the patterns of the daytime. 6. And then when you do it, spelling it out through Hebrew, 600, you get 108, which is tied to this word in Greek. You know what this word is? Cross. Staros. So the staros is tied to 600, which is tied to the Hebrew number 6. Remember, 6 is the sign of Virgo, and Jesus was born a virgin, and the only virgin on the zodiac wheel is Virgo. The only one. You and I are born virgins. We are born through the layer of the Virgo, the 6. That's why it's the first perfect number. That's why it's the element carbon. We're carbon-based life forms. And that's why it's the Lover's card right here in the major arcana. Right there. 6. Can't miss it, man. These are all connections that are humdingers, man. Staros. And it's not even this, it's an upright pole. This is a Roman construct, which makes it even more complicated. So when you reduce these down, those of you that like to reduce down, you'll get the number of the beast. That's why it says it's the number of a man. Yeah, because 6 is carbon. Well, when you do 600, you get 42 is 6, 33 is 6, 33, 666. So this is why I have said so many times, you are the devil, man. Be the best. You are the beast. You're the one that is experiencing this reality. It's your show. It's your game. It's your movie. You're the most important person. The number of a man. The number of a woman. Pretty easy to see. Well, then we back this up because this is where the other timetable comes in, the asleep stage. 5:59 is the bridge to the 6. And here's 5:59 in Hebrew. 178 is the total numerology in Hebrew now. Now remember, the creator of Groundhog Day, Harold, is Jewish. So this has even more merit to it using the Hebrew words. Well, let's continue, get a little bit more depth. Because this is Hebrew, the ordinal, the straight Hebrew, I'm going to go back to the word 6 a.m. He wakes up. Well, that's 42. Bill Murray was 42 when the movie came out. Go look it up. Bill Murray was 42 when the movie came out. Another mere coincidence. So when you put these two together, which are the big highlights of the movie, the 559 and 6, you get 178 and 42. Are you ready for this, folks? This one's going to drop your jaw. What happens when you add them up? You get 220. What is 220 in Hebrew? This. In the biblical Hebrew, from the original spelling, it's the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Tied to asleep and awake. Night, because this is during the nighttime, the tree of knowledge being nighttime, the tree of life being daytime. That's it. That's why in the Torah you have day number 2, the separation between day and night. Tree of life, tree of knowledge. If you've taken the Gateway course or the Spotlight course, you would have learned this. We showed this. So let's get into a very, to me, one of the most interesting topics you can take a look at. Spit out. So I know some of you here don't want to come back. You don't want to play another incarnation. I get it. So how do you get spit out? What does that look like? Well, let's go back to the Groundhog Day to get some base, some foundations. Remember, Harold Ramis was 48 when he created Groundhog Day. When it came out, I should say. He was 48. Is he a fan of Chaldean numerology? Maybe. I don't know. But he would have to have premeditated putting the movie out when he was 48. That means he would have to plan his entire life around that, so to speak, to get it to come out this way. See that Groundhog is 42. Bill Murray was 42 when the movie came out. Him and Andy's cards are 42. Life, the universe, everything. The 6 of hearts is the baby right there. The day is the baby. See, daytime, 6. 6, daytime. When he wakes up and he smashes the alarm clock. Just a lot of subtleties that we could just dive into. But you see that 48, which is not only tied to hamster wheel, but I want to be clear that it's tied to this right here. The great red spot. Well, you know who's got that, right? Jupiter, Zeus. Are we just in the dream of Zeus? Well, here are the cards that link up with the 48. On the beautiful side, it's the Knight of Cups, card number 48, which comes from the Jack of Hearts, card number 11. This is the Jack of Love. This is one of the Jesus cards in the spread. It sits in the middle of the cross. Literally, when you go to the charts, it sits right here. You can make a cross right there. And of course, this sits in the Venus Zeus line, which means expansion of love. That's what it means. But then if you go to the 48th card, in the cosmic playing cards, you get the 9 of spades, which doesn't fare as well as this one. Because now, being in this position of looking for love, what comes with looking for love and falling in love and being in love and loving things and having attachments is you start to have worry and fear and depression and suffering, and you're a slave to love. I know some of you will say, I'm okay with that. That's totally fine. It's your show. Every attachment you add to your life, you become a slave to it. Whether it's a pet, a child you bear into this world, you get a new car, you got to spend more money on the insurance. Everything comes with a price. So this literally represents the hamster wheel that we're on, the great red spot. These are both 24. There are 24 hours in a day. And then we connect this back to titanium. See, titanium is not just 47. It has several stable isotopes. This is one of them. 48 is its most abundant. So because the 48 is tied to the great red spot of Zeus, and Zeus threw the Titans out of heaven during the Olympian Titan War, this makes a lot of sense. We are the offsprings of Earth. We are the sons and daughters of the Titans. And are we just getting recycled back in over and over and over and over? That's an answer you'll have to come up with. I'm just merely presenting you the forensics behind all of this. So when we go to the Master Spirit spread, which is the spread of the divine, we're going to locate space number 48, and there is card number 48. And it's sitting in the Poseidon Uranus line. Uranus means heaven. Neptune means earth because he rules the earth, the water. You have heaven and earth right here. This space is heaven and earth. And it just so happens that the two names from the original Greek, Uranus and Poseidon, equal 220, which is the tree of life and tree of knowledge. So I know that this has to be a part of this. This is the beauty, this is the nightmare. And we experience both in our reality. This would be the tree of life, this would be the tree of knowledge. The hamster wheel that we go around and around. And I want to be clear, Jesus says right in Revelation, I wish you'd be hot or cold. He wants you to pick one of these. Why would he want you to choose? If he's here to save you, why would he ask you to choose hot or cold? Why not tell you one way? No, he gives you a selection. That should automatically tell you what that whole thing means. It's a trap of recycling. Doesn't get any more clear than that. All right, let's do some timestamps. This was the version of Groundhog Day I was watching, and this was the very first time the 5:59 shows up on the clock. It was at 18 minutes and 17 seconds. And of course, if you take 18 and 17 and you add it up, you're going to get 35. And 35 is tied to this word right here, simulation. There's a million different ways that I can go look at these timestamps that, to me, prove that the directors are not in control of these movies. Anyway, when we add up all the numbers, the total amount for the movie, the 141, which is the prison, 141 is prison, praseodymium. If we add all up all the digits here, is this a code? Yeah, we get 81, and then when it turns to 6 a.m., it's 2 seconds later, and you get 83. 81 and 83. For the very first time, this shows up in the movie, and then you add them up. Here they are side by side. 164. This represents asleep and awake. And the 164, ladies and gentlemen, this is the title of this topic is spit out. I'm going to show you why that is. The 164, I can easily bring in chemistry to this. I can take chemistry, the 559, and 6, and I can add up the isotopes, and I get 164. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, to me, it's an impossibility to put a movie out and to get it. Okay, we have to show the clock right at 18 minutes and 17 seconds, and then there's a 2 second span, duality, and now it clicks over to the 6. Those equal 164, and then the chemistry is 164. No, this is an impossibility for humankind to get it to come out this way. Well, what is this 164 tied to? Well, it's tied to the orbital period of Poseidon. Right there, 164. Poseidon, remember, Harold Ramis, the guy who co-wrote the movie and directed it, has the Poseidon card. And this right here, this is Jesus talking right here from Revelation 3 verses 16, and says, because you are lukewarm and you're neither hot or cold, I'm going to spit you out of my stomatos, my mouth right there. That's 164. So you have Jesus being tied to Poseidon now. He had to have been born under the guise of Poseidon like you and I if it was a real dude. Can't say whether or not he was real or not. Don't know. No way to prove it, but it's allegorical no matter what, and it's in the story. Fact or fiction, doesn't matter. There's forensics behind it. So here's the astronomy. And Neptune's got the great dark spot right there. That's going to be 46 in numerology. That's going to be tied to the paradise that Jesus promises people. Today you'll be with me in Paradisios. Even this, the orbital period of Neptune, Poseidon, 367 is the 73rd prime number. 73 is you're on television. So if you don't want to be here anymore in the awake and sleep cycles, the yin yang, the pineal gland running this, well, you got to be lukewarm. That's what it says here. This is what we teach here. What does lukewarm mean? Well, not judging either the yin or yang, the dark or the light. You got to do that. That's one of the requisites. I hope by now you've already done that. Let's get into the next topic now. Cherry in. If you're on the fence of whether or not this reality is scripted, maybe this will convince you. This one is probably the gem out of the entire Decode. So right here is the timestamp of when 6 o'clock hits. And I'm not going to break this down. I wanted to leave this for some of you forensic decoders. But the 1:34:49 was the first time that he actually wakes up right here and realizes, wait a minute, something's different. He starts touching her arm. She's like, it's too early. And he's pinching her arm. Something's different. This is when it happened. And he realizes now time's moving. He's out of the loop. But is he? You would assume he had sex with her. He's already in love with her, tried to manipulate her throughout the entire movie when he found out he was in the loop, to impress her, to try to get some, because that's what the whole moral of this whole story was. Besides being a good person, he wanted to get some. He wanted to get her in the sack, and he did. So when they get dressed, they go outside, and it snowed out, and this is the Cherry Inn, and this is a real place. This is how I know, this is my proof for me that humans are not doing this. Cherry Inn is a bed and breakfast in Woodstock, Illinois. They didn't film it there. But this is the support that I needed here, folks. This one's going to blow your mind. Here is the address, the full address when you spell it all out, not abbreviations. 344 Fremont Street, Woodstock, Illinois, 60098, 159. Of course, I'm just going to connect this to chemistry. And I'm going to go to the 65th element called terbium. 159 is its stable isotope. Now, there's a reason why there's a compact disc there. Now, remember, I want to remind you, this moment in the movie is when he wakes up and realizes, oh my God, something's different. I've changed. Something's changed. Yeah, because he slept with her and, remember, she bought him at an auction. So there's the 65 and the terbium. So here is the element. This is the isotope back down. It's going to be isotope number 159. You see right there, the symbol reflects the use in the manufacture of the first rewritable compact discs, which are these. These discs that came out, you could rewrite over them. That's why it's CDRW. A lot of the CDs that we got, you'd burn them and you couldn't do anything else with them. These you can rewrite over the top of them. So what this is alluding to, folks, he's at the Cherry Inn with this woman. He had sex with her, obviously. He wakes up and something's different. He's been in a loop. And the address of Cherry Inn, the real location is 159, which ties to that element terbium. And terbium is about the rewriting of over a compact disc. So this is how mind-blowing this is. So read with me on terbium and compact discs. Number one, a focused laser beam briefly heats a microscopic spot on the disc. Number two, the heat causes the terbium's magnetic polarity to flip in that location. Number three, this orientation encodes a binary 1 or 0. Number four, when the laser reads the disc later, it detects the changes in reflected light caused by these reversed magnetic fields, turning invisible atomic shifts into sound, text, or image. And then number five, crucially, the same laser can later rewrite the data by reheating and reorienting these same spots, allowing a completely new narrative to be recorded. A new narrative can be recorded. Isn't that what happened here? His life was in a loop, a circle. That's what terbium is. It's a compact. This is a circle. Around and around and around and around you go. But these RWs can be rewritten, which is exactly what he did. Now his life is moving. He's like, something's different. So read with me. It says, terbium's presence in the creation of compact discs makes it a literal bridge between light and information. Exactly what a cosmic screenplay writer would be. CDs store data as microscopic impressions, tiny pits and lands, then use laser light to read that information. Terbium's role is to enhance those optical properties, especially through its green-emitting phosphors and magneto-optical behavior, making the translation between coded light and human experience possible. So in the metaphysical sense, if the game of life is the ultimate holographic recording, then terbium is the element that inscribes the divine script into the material medium. It is the one that allows light, spirit, to speak into code, to burn information onto matter in a readable pattern, just as CD laser etches music, memory, or story into a reflected surface. Each human incarnation could be imagined as a track written on the great terbium disc of creation, waiting to be played by consciousness. So keep going here. If you read the world as a cosmic screenplay, then terbium becomes the writer's ink that allows existence to be edited. This is what people think. I can change my destiny. In Groundhog Day, Phil Connors must repeat scenes until his heart vibrates in harmony with compassion, precisely the green light of terbium's phosphor glow. Green is the heart chakra. When love rewrites his emotional code, the loop collapses. The film's rewrite mirrors the atomic behavior of terbium in a CDRW. The heat, which represents passion, rearranges the magnetic orientation, destiny. From that view, the Cherry Tree Inn becomes the laboratory of the soul, where data melts under warmth and reforms as wisdom. So this scene right here is what seemingly alters the destiny of Phil Connors. And all he had to do was have sex. That's what changed it. He had to be a good person. His heart had to open up. Yep, for sure. But it wasn't until he had sex. Obviously, you know he did. He just didn't sleep in the same bed. No. It's all based on Cherry Street. And Cherry Street having the 159. Is this not mind-blowing that this scene changed his destiny? And this is tied to the CDs that are able to be rewritten, which is exactly what the story called for. That he got out of loop and he rewrote the story by way of sex and love. Yep. So let's keep going. Let me show you how crazy scripted this is. When you add up the neutrons, protons, and electrons of terbium, you get 224, which is the orbital period of Venus. And Venus is about lovemaking. Venus is about being compassionate. Venus is tied to the heart. And remember, terbium has a green light. The phosphor glow of terbium which has the ability to rewrite these compact discs, is green. Are you seeing this? I hope so. Venus's element is copper. See the 65? See the 65? So I already know that Harold's not sitting down, and the guy who wrote it, Daniel Rubin, I know they weren't sitting down and using these layers to make the movie. I already know that. And I know they didn't pick this because they had the knowledge of the Chaldean numerology and they knew it was linked to terbium. I already know that's the case. But of course, as fate would have it, and we just do the forensics, this is absolutely jaw-dropping and mind-blowing. That it fits the narration of him changing the course of action in his life. And he did it by way of Venus, because it's love. These are absolutely huge layers showing predestination. So let's keep going with element terbium. See, element 65 terbium, if you'll read with me, mirrors a profound bridge between light and love when connected to copper, the 29th element, whose isotope 65 defines terbium's atomic identity. Copper has long been sacred to Venus, planet of beauty, attraction, and harmony, while terbium governs the art of rewriting light and resonance. Together they form a symbolic alloy. Terbium writes the story of experience through the language of light, while copper, as Venus's metal, writes it through the frequency of love. Now, we don't need to follow anything to be that kind of person, right? I would automatically assume you're compassionate. I would automatically assume you're doing service to others and you're helping people. And I would automatically assume you're a loving person. I know I am. I'm not perfect, but I know that I can check those boxes off, but I still see the forensics and I still see my life being coded. I still see it. I still see the trail of forensics day in and day out. This is the symbol of the Ankh in ancient Egypt, which was eternal life, because Venus is spirit into matter. That's what all this stuff means. And then you need the writer. And that gets into Mercury, Hermes. See, it says terbium receives light through the laser, then translate it into physical code. That's matter, that's us. Hermes does exactly this at the metaphysical level. He takes your celestial truths and translates them into language, symbols, and stories you can comprehend. They're already written, though. Every disc burned, every story encoded, every beam of light writing memory into matter, that's Hermes at work through terbium, the atomic scribe of divine communication. Because Hermes is 65 from the original Greek language. 65. And you'll notice something very similar to these two celestials. They both have the circle and the cross. The difference is Hermes has the crescent moon above his head. Venus is the way your love signature is. Mercury is the way you think. This is your mind. This is your heart. When you put them together, you have a duo that is absolutely massive in the world of astronomy, astrology, and the forensics. Because we can easily take these two elements, which represent Mercury and copper. I'm using the most abundant. Copper is 63, Mercury is 202, and you add them up and you get 265, and there's the vesica piscis right there. There's the port, there's the vagina, which represents birth. 265 is from top to bottom. I already know this is absolutely legit, and there's the Jesus Christ character with the crucifixion. You can put the cross in there, the Roman construct, but the original Staros cross is up and down. It's not left, up, down, left, and right. And there it is right there, sitting right there. So this clearly shows now the connection between Jesus, I am the bright morning star, Venus, and then the messenger. Because Jesus came as a messenger, and that's Mercury, and Mercury rules Virgo, and Virgo is the sixth sign, and Virgo's the virgin of which Jesus was born under. So now we can easily add Mercury to Jesus's list of what he's attached to. So now it just becomes astrological, and through astronomy, you get out of theology, and then you add in chemistry to this, and you get Rutherfordium. Ernest Rutherford is a big deal. He was born on August 30th. Because Ernest Rutherford's tied to the proton, light. And this 104, ladies and gentlemen, is right here. When Jesus told the thief to his right, today you will be with me in Paradisios. Here it is. Yeah, well, that's Poseidon's domain. The paradise is water. Water brings life. If there is no water, there is no life. You will become a desert. That's how things grow. You need H2O. That's why baptism is a big thing in theology. And that's why drinking the wine, which is the blood, is a big thing, because that's water. It's Poseidon's domain, these rituals. So now you know what the baptism and why the ichthys, the fish, is so big in theology, because it's tied to the domain of Poseidon, which is the ruler of the fish, which is why they have the mitre hats, the fish hats, which is why we're under maritime law, which is why the woman's water breaks before the baby comes out. That's why you have a live birth certificate. These are absolutely mind-blowing connections, folks, with the forensics. This is sacred geometry and alchemy and numerology and chemistry, and now mainstream tied right into it to show you what Groundhog Day looks like. See, you don't know you're in a loop here. And you don't know that Poseidon's domain, which is Brahma in the Vedic, is the ruler of earth, because it's the god of water, the god of rain. You can easily tie it to the flood, if that even happened. So the paradise is tied to the Vesica Piscis, which is tied to the solar and lunar eclipses. And to me, we did a big decode on the Patreon called Portals, and that showed clearly that the lunar and solar eclipses perhaps allude to the fact that's how spirit enters and exits, through the portal of the sun and moon eclipses, cosmology-wise. And then when you add up the neutrons, protons, and electrons of copper and mercury, you get 374, which is the GOD. I'm not saying that Venus and Mercury represent God itself. It would be all the celestials, because it's a team effort. But this is a big standout. And what the heart and mind work as a unit together, when the heart is in tune with the mind, this is where you're going to get the duality from. See, if you're all brain and no heart, you're only one half. If you're all heart and no brain, you're only one half. In this world of duality, it is both of these. They're attached together. Not just by me saying that, but literally through the biology of the body. And this 14 is tied to the element silicon, which is what creates the future. That's why silicon is the technology capital of the world. All you have to do is, where is the collective on the world stage? Where is their heart and mind right now? The collective, not you, but where's the collective? What are they joining together? Where's the heart and mind of the collective right now? Does the collective shape and move this reality? And you just go along for the ride. If you're a minority in the collective, does your life really matter? It does. I'm not belittling it, but I'm just postulating this, that is the collective what navigates the ship on what we end up experiencing here on earth as life? Because your heart and mind may not be in tune with the collective. Mine's not. That's why I don't want to be here. Silicon has several isotopes that are stable. 29 is one of them. It goes right back to Venus. See? So really, it's what you love that creates the future. And that is not even an opinion, that's a fact. Because everything that you love, from the businesses you open to the employees you hire, to the company you work for, to your wife, to your husband, to your children. It's about love that makes your future move forward. So essentially, you're tied to silicon. We're silica, man. Silicon is tied to what it means to be a Piscean. Silica-based, carbon-based. Well, now we're moving into Aquarius, which is going to be silicon, and you're going to move it out of the carbon-based life form. So it seems that's the way it's going to work, but time will tell on that. Time will tell on that. And then this is kind of what really kind of put it all together and was the anchor, the nail in the coffin, was that the original numerology of copper and mercury, there's hydrogyros, there's mercury, and there's copper. It's two words. It's 344, and there is the 344. I hope you're seeing this, folks. This is jaw on the floor forensics, man. This is so dialed in. Again, I know that they're not picking this. This is a real place. And again, to premeditate it, like we have to look for an address with 344. This is the original spelling of mercury and copper, which represent the terbium, which changed the course of Bill Murray's life in the movie, along with Andie MacDowell, because she got into a relationship with him. Do you see how big this is? This is like, this is a connection on steroids. This was the nail in the coffin. This is how I know with absolute clarity that we live in a predestined world, man. This is the forensics behind that. And then if I do it in the modern Greek, that was the ancient Greek. If I do it in the modern Greek, you get 314. That's pi. That's 88 plus 226. That's the Ra. See, remember Harold Ramis is his last name, Ra? This is the modern. But the modern, ancient comes before the modern. These are written in the ancient Greek. But we can easily go into the modern. It goes back 30 digits. That's pi. Pi is the terbium. Pi is this, folks. This is pi right here. This is pi. The compact disc is pi. This is representing Earth. You could say this is the hole in the Earth. Ra, Harold Ramis, Ra. The 226th word in the King James Matthew, book of Matthew, is Christ. I am the light of the world. All right, let's get into the contest. This is what I ran on the Patreon. I was giving away a pro bono session. Nobody got it, though. So as I was looking for images for this presentation, I was looking for an alarm clock. This is what I typed in right here. Bill Groundhog Day alarm. I was looking for the alarm clock, and this popped up. And I knew what this meant, because I knew that the 220 is tied to not only the 5:59 and 6 a.m. tied to the 220, but remember, it's the tree of life and tree of knowledge. I went to this guy's name's Mike Hensley. I went to his channel. I went to this guy's channel, and I know he's not trying to mock anybody. I mean, he's a father. This is just a simple dude. Why did I find this? Well, it found me. I'm not selecting this stuff. So here's the video. And you notice how long it is, 4 minutes and 37 seconds, and there it is. Now, I don't know if he's Jewish and he knows that tree of life and tree of knowledge through Hebrew numerology is 220. And I don't know if he knows 5:59 and 6 o'clock, which are the times on the clock that are about awake and asleep. I don't know if he knows all this stuff. I would bet my life he doesn't. I would put everything I have that I have in life to know that this man, Mike Hensley, is not trying to get one past you. And he didn't stop the video and make it 4 minutes and 37 seconds because he knows that God has those numbers. Well, if you go watch the video, and this is where nobody got, he ends with his little demonstration of the Panasonic RC6205, the clock they used. He ends it with 2:24 on the clock. And 2:24 is the orbital period of Venus. Yeah. But Mike's trying to get one past you. Maybe we should go email Mike and ask him if he's trying to swindle people. So this has nothing to do with Mike Hensley. It found me. Go look at his channel, man. It's a simple guy, just a family guy. He's not an agent implanted to try to get one past you. But this was what people, the contest, those of you missed it, the 2:24 is Venus, the orbital period of Venus. Many of you got the 2:20 right. Some of you got the 2:20 right. The 22, of course, recycle. I think one or two of you got that. One of you got the tree of life, tree of knowledge, but you didn't get the Venus. That was the one that was missed. So I went ahead and I looked at the timestamp of his video. See, on YouTube, when you put a video out, it usually is 1 second longer than when you click on the video. It's usually always like that. If you go look at my videos, it's normally, you'll see the timestamp, and then if you click on the video where to go to starts to play, it's 1 second less. So when you add these two numbers up, 436 and 437, you get 81. This was the time that he started the video, and then the 2:24 was when he ended it, tied to Venus. Well, what's that 81 tied to? Jesus, of course. And what is Jesus? He's Venus. And all I have to do is bridge it with chemistry, and it's a big, mighty one, because thallium is about offspring. Thallium comes from Thallo, the Greek goddess of green buds. Springtime. This is the real crucifixion right here. If it really happened, it looked like that, which looks like something coming up out of the soil. That's why Jesus represents life. And the sun has to create the photosynthesis, and this reaches for the light. See the 205? Jesus Christos. We covered this in the mushroom cross, covered this in the penis beast. Life. So I know that Mike Hensley's not trying to get one past us. No. It came out this way because it was supposed to come out this way. Venus. Jesus is the bright morning star. The Christ is the sun. They're separate. And then we covered this in the mushroom cross, where when you take thallium 81 and you add up the neutrons, protons, and electrons, you get 286. Which is fascinating because 286 is the numerology of the 8 blood types with the RH factors. Covered this a million times. How long have we been saying on this channel, you are the Christ character? You're playing out the Jesus Christ character. That's why they made a theater out, Jesus Christ Superstar. The question is, do you want to keep playing? Jesus is Venus. Venus is the bright morning star, which is spirit into matter, along with Mercury. See, are you seeing this? So let's get into the trap now. The Venus flytrap, the Jesus flytrap. So here's the scripture telling you that Jesus is the bright morning star. 22 verses 16. There's the recycle, 22, recycle. Bright morning star. And we know the law 1 material, when I bring this in, it's about the channeling of Ra. And it's not just Ra, but it is Ra from 6th density Venus. So this connects Jesus to Ra. Just want to make that clear, folks, because we can easily take the law 1 material. What is the law 1 material? You either graduate or repeat. It's a cycle, a loop. You either graduate or repeat. Maybe that's just it. Maybe we can check out anytime you like, but we can never leave. Maybe we graduate or we just reincarnate back into the same cycle again. I don't know. But let's get into the song now. I Got You, Babe. Why was this song chosen by Sonny and Cher? Well, this was off of the promo. We did a promo on this. And this was as clear as you're going to get. Using the English now, a lot of you like to use the English, the co-partner to Chaldean. Well, the B-side and I Got You, Babe equals 263, which just so happens to be the days of Venus, according to science and astronomy. Venus appears as the evening star and the day star about 263 days. So what is this alluding to? And remember, Sonny is singing to Cher, put your little hand in mine. I got you, babe. I got you. I'm going to take care of you. But is there another message? Yeah. The other message is I got you and you ain't getting out. You're not going anywhere. I got you, man. And it's going to rain. Rain is precipitation. Rain is tied to Poseidon. When it rains, it's the water cycle. Rain represents the incarnation process. The water cycle is evaporation, sun, condensation, moon, and precipitation, earth. How about that song, When I Die by Alice in Chains? I think it's going to rain when I die. Anyway, if you want more support, here it is. Sonny and Cher, I Got You, Babe. Using the English, it's 122. That's tied to the 52nd element called tellurium. There's the Earth. 122 is a stable isotope of tellurium. And 52 is tied to the Venus flytrap, which is an apex predator, which is prison planet. This is the Vesica Piscis. This is the Virgin Mary. So keep worshiping her. One of the most important figures in Christianity or Catholicism is the Virgin Mary. It's a fly trap. You're stuck inside of a prison, man. And I got you. I got you. Love. I got you asleep. I got you awake. I got you as a baby, 6. Even if I go to numerology and I type in the word baby, that's going to give us 6. Baby. Waking up, I got you. The Venus flytrap. Prison. 52. We don't know what happens after that. Notice they're both 26s. It's tied to iron, which is our blood. This reduces down to the number 8, the 8 known blood types. I could go on and on with that. But here's even more ridiculousness now. Even the clock that was chosen for this movie, the Panasonic RC6025, even that is tied to Prison Planet. Really put on your thinking cap here and look at what I'm showing you here. That Harold and company who made this movie would have had to know this knowledge. They would have to know this. I got you. I got you, babe, tied to tellurium. Tellurium is tied to the alarm clock that played the music that he kept busting up. And here's the company that created the alarm clock. Matsushita. Panasonic. This is a Panasonic RC6025. What is the founding date? Now Panasonic would have to be in on this big conspiracy. March 7th. And what is March 7th's card? The 3 of Spades, which is card number 42. Bill Murray was 42 when the movie came out. And that guy kept hammering on the alarm clock, which was telling him, I got you. Over and over and over. So, do you think Panasonic's trying to get one past you? Do you think Harold is in bed with Panasonic? Do you think that they're trying to pull the woolly over your eyes? This is the conception card for the Christ, by the way. If you watch The Prison of Jesus, you'll see that December 25th's conception date, going back 263 days, linked to Venus, is going to be tied to the Three of Spades. April 5th, I think it was. 42, life, the universe, everything. The cycle of life. So here is Woodstock, Illinois. The actual town used to portray Groundhog Day. Woodstock, Illinois. The latitude, longitude is 42 and 88. 88's tied to Ra. 42 is tied to, I didn't even do this, but I'll do it on the fly. 42 is tied to this. Reincarnation. 42. How about crucifixion? 42. How about Wonderland? 42. How about the Lake of Fire? 42. Why was Woodstock chosen? Well, Harold's from Illinois, as is Bill Murray. So that would make sense. But did they know this? Did they premeditate this to get it out this way? And did they premeditate casting Bill Murray? Because the movie comes out and he's 42. I mean, even the birthday right there, the subtleties, right? What's 214? That's the symbol of Zeus. Zeus is 214. Zeus, king of the gods, 214. Andy McDowell, the female, he ends up becoming in a relation. She's on the 21st. All this is just mere coincidence, though, right? It's just all mere coincidence. What about the numerology of Woodstock, Illinois? Right back to Venus, 224. Another coincidence. So we get it here with Venus. We get it here with the 42 and the 88. The 88, that's tied to Venus as well. All right, let's get into the next topic now. Groundhog, California flytrap. So the official scientific name for a groundhog is the Marmota monax. Pandora's box. Doesn't that make sense? Over and over and over. If you don't like that one, go to the English. The Marmota monax is 148, which is the same outcome as Hotel California. What do these have to do with each other? Well, the Eagle said you can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. Groundhog Day, in a loop. 148 is a big number. It's tied to the eye of the tiger. The eye of the tiger is tied to Zeus. I think even in the English, if I put the English up here, almost certain. The great red spot, 148. Eye of the tiger. See, tiger's 59. There are 59 beads in a rosary. Keep using those rosaries. Keep doing the cross across your body. Keep eating the wafers and drinking the blood. Keep doing those rituals. What about the groundhog? Groundhog is 42. Life, the universe. I remember Bill Murray was 42. Woodstock, Illinois, where they shot it, 42 degrees north latitude. And calcium has an isotope 42. Calcium is our bones and teeth. Reincarnation. 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 And then this is a huge humdinger here. Groundhog is 109 in the English. And that's exactly what you're going to get if you add up the protons of Mercury and Venus. 109. Remember, this is 265, which represents the vesica piscis, but the protons, 109. And 109 is the 29th prime number, and 29 is copper. And 29 is the 10th prime number, and 10 leads to the yod. The 10th letter in the Hebrew alphabet is the yod. Harold Ramis is Jewish. So the bright morning star tied to Venus. See, Venus will tell you that the sun's coming. This is the Christ, this is Jesus. But then you also have Mercury here. There's the crescent moon, there's the crescent moon. Mercury is the way you think, Venus is the way you love. You can't have one without the other. So here's bright morning star. We showed this in a few other decodes. The numerology of it from Revelation 22 verses 16. It's one digit off from what science says is the number of days Venus is visible in the sky. 263 versus 264, I'll take it. It's not way off, it's one digit off. It's a humdinger. Another aspect proving the validity of Jesus being Venus. So we take that 264 and I want to get a card. And I get the 4 of hearts. 264, and what we're going to do is there are 52 cards in a deck, so we use the 52 as a bridge, and we're going to subtract that 264 until we get to 52 or below. You can do this with the tarot, with the 78 cards. You can do it with the alphabets. It's fun. But we get the 4. We go right back to what Venus is all about, right? The bright morning star leads to the number 4. There are 4 blood types, A, B, O, and AB. With the RH factors, there's 8. And in the chakras, it's the anahata. The anahata, the heart. This is the 4th card in the deck. This is the sign of Venus, the anahata. So now I'm going to go to Sanskrit. I'm going to spell out anahata, and we get 114. And 114 is one of the stable isotopes. Tin has 10 of them, the most out of any element. It's tin 114. What is this saying? It's the Tin Man looking for his heart. In The Wizard of Oz, that's what he was trying to do. He doesn't have a heart. He wants to feel. So I made it fun. It's the male chasing the female, and the female wants to get chased. The chase is on. And you chase with your heart. You chase with Venus. Jesus was all about love. And love leads to procreation. And if you don't want to play anymore, you see, my stomatos adds up to 164. Well, what do you think 50 and 114 equals? 164. Getting spit out. You got to stop doing this. It's the tallest order because most people don't want to stop that. Life is revolving around sex, the flesh, pleasures of the flesh. Celibacy for the win. It's tall order. I think it's beyond that, though. It's beyond just that, but this is what keeps the game going. Venus is spirit into matter. This is big, and 50 is tied to Zeus because tin is alchemically tied to Zeus. And Jesus is Jesus. And Zeus is about expansion. Venus is about love, the expansion of love. So here's the Revelation 3 verses 16. If you don't want to be polarized, then I got no use for you. You got to be polarized. Neutrality, lukewarm, for the win. Not hot or cold. Not zestos or sikros, which is Greek for hot or cold, but lukewarm. Lukewarm is 93 in Greek numerology, which is tied to Neptune's protons. So there's beauty in this, right? It's not all doom and gloom. Because the anahata from the original Sanskrit, what card would it be? Well, the 10. And that's the completion of love. The 10 of hearts. 10 is the binary system. What's fascinating about this card, this is the card for the founding date of the Society of Jesus. September 27th is the 10 of Hearts card. Why would they select that date? They didn't select it. See, there's beauty in the heart, obviously, because this is the completion of the heart. So we're taking a completely different language, Sanskrit, breaking it down, and showing you the narration, the storyboard, and how it fits. And it's not trying to fit anything. This is so beautiful. But again, if you don't want to play anymore, well. And then the symbol of the Anahata, the Yam. It's the Ya and the little diacritic mark, the Yam. This doesn't get any value in the numerology. And that's the Yod, right? The Yam. That has a value of 40. And 173 is the 40th prime number, and that's the square root of 3, which is the Vesica Piscis. You see how amazing this is? This is like amazing. That's the fish. So this is what keeps the game going, and it will never stop. The question is, do you want to keep playing? Because it involves this. This is the vagina, the fish, the miter hats, the NFL football, the solar and lunar eclipses. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we're not ruled over by physicality. We're ruled over by letters, numbers, and symbols. That's what the code that writes. This is the forensics behind it all, that wrote it. We're just reverse engineering it. And if you go 114 digits into the square root of 1.73, there's that number 40. There's the Yam. 114 digits, and there's the Yam. It's digit 113 and 114. And that's a big number when you combine them together. That's going to be 227, and that's going to be tied to 89, actinium, which means ray, for a different story. But you can't miss it. And the 114th digit, which would be tied to the Anahata, is the O, which is the portal, the 0. That's on the world card. That's why in the major arcana, the world card has got a big fat O on it. And why Bill Murray was born on the 21st, why Andy McDowell was born on the 21st. Because of these placements. So then you get into the tarot now. Now here's the alternate. The 4 of Cups is card number 40, which comes from the 4th card. Remember, the heart chakra is chakra number 4. This is card number 40, tied to the symbol of Yam, which is the numerology in Sanskrit, 40. And this card is about not wanting to play. The energy of this card is a very standoffish kind of energy. But of course, it has a counterpart, because doing this all the time, people get bored. Boredom is the universe's best adversary. Collaboration is boredom. It's the best asset of the universe, boredom. When you get bored, you'll go create things. And the engagement of spirit into matter, it will get you. That's why it takes discipline. But this is tied to the heart, which is tied to Venus, and it's tied to the ancient Egyptian symbol of the Ankh. The forever loop. Over and over and over. And that's why in John 6 verses 53, Jesus wants you to do these cannibalistic and vampirism rituals. Because it's spirit and matter and blood and water and all of that. And this scripture, the numerology of it is 220, tied to the 1373 from the original Greek. Notice how many letters it is. The scripture from John 6 verses 53 from the original Greek telling you if you don't eat the eat the body and drink the blood, you have no life. Well, here's the original Greek. Look how many letters it is. 114 letters. That's the anahata. See how dialed in this is? And the numerology is 1373, which is the 220th prime number. And there's remember the 2 clocks in Groundhog Day, the time stamps. The 5:59 and the 6. In Hebrew, the spelling is 220. And this is why, and now you know why the rosaries are 6 and 53. Because it's tied to John 6 verses 53. This is the code. This is how it's all bridged and sourced out. To get these things really, really powerful. So 59 beads. 59's the prison. It's tied to Gemini. Gemini's ruled by Mercury. Mercury's the way you think, the thoughts, the scribe that writes, as we already talked about with the terbium. And the scientific name for the Venus flytrap, the Dionea muscipula, is tied to the rosaries, which is tied to John 6:53, which is tied to the tree of life and tree of knowledge, which is tied to the anahata. It's tied to Venus, man. And it's going to give you this. It's got beauty, it's got bliss, it's got joy, but it's got pain, suffering, and slavery. The game of life. When you bring in the human design, you get 59 here. The gate 59 is the gate of intimacy, sexuality. Why would gate 59, and again, you think Rahu created the human design, do you think he knew that the game of life is 59? Do you think he knew the scientific name for Venus flytrap is 59? That's absurd. But of course, what does he link it to? Intimacy. Venus, love, but it's a trap. Love is a trap. So here are the 2 gates in human design. I told you we'd be talking about human design. Here they are. Gate 59 in the sacral, where the genitalia are for male and female, the penis and vagina, and it's tied to gate number 6, which is the gate of the baby. Venus flytrap and baby. And this is tied to your emotional center. And the emotional center for gate 6 is a dualistic gate. It's a gate of friction or resistance or peace, duality. Remember, it was 6 a.m. when Groundhog Day, when he had to wake up. And when you add gate 59 and gate 6 together, you get 65, which is tied to terbium and the compact disc, and it's tied to Hermes. Hermes numerology is 65. So it's not just copper, it's Mercury. Mercury and copper. Mercury and copper. It's the yin and yang. On the tree of life, they sit opposite of one another. One's on the right-hand path, Venus, and one's on the left-hand path, Mercury. Intimacy and duality. And now you're trapped as a human being in the Vesica Piscis, using a simple system, in my opinion, a system that came out in the 1980s. So here is a theonumerology of being spit out. This is Jesus taught. This is Revelation 3 verses 16. Remember, Jesus is Venus and Mercury. He said, if you don't want to play anymore, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. All of the verses, by the way. Chapter 1 has 20 verses. Chapter 2 has 29 verses. Chapter 3 verses 16. You add them all up, you get 65. 65 is copper. Copper's tied to bronze. The bronze serpent in Numbers 21 verses 9. See, Jesus is tied to the serpent, folks. I know that's going to piss some of you off. You can't be spit out of something you're not in. You're stuck in a trap, man. That's why Elvis sang it. We're caught in a trap, and I can't get out because I love you too much, baby. That's what he sang, called Suspicious Minds. So here it is in its full glory. Gate 59 and gate 6, which are a connecting channel from the intimacy to the baby, creates terbium. The word turbulence starts off with terbium. And terbium connects right to the cherry tree inn where Phil Connors makes love and something changes. Something changes, folks. Do you see how dialed in this is? This is so dialed in, folks. Praseodymium, the scientific isotope is 140. It's going to be 141, but 140 point ... and carbon. So now we take human design and we bring it into chemistry. And now we have the isotope samarium 152. And what is 62? Well, it's Emmanuel. This is the Old Testament talking about the birthing of Jesus. You will call his name Emmanuel, which means God is with us. Samarium. If you watched my Life is But a Dream, this is tied to row, row, row your boat gently down a stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. You're in a dream. It's not real. But you're trapped in the dream. So just the simplicity of taking these two gates, which are a connecting channel in human design, bringing in the chemistry of it, and then getting a final outcome leads to Jesus again. Emmanuel. No, Jesus is not tied to Yeshua. That's from Ezra 2 verses 2. That's the son of Jehozadak. Jesus is tied to Venus, man. And Samarium is tied to recycle, which is what Groundhog Day came out on February 2nd, 22. All right, last topic. I told you this would be a long one. Here's the astrology. Are you ready? Here's the astrology. I'm going to point out a few things. This is not all of them. It's a team effort. Let's look at Venus. On February 4th, 1993, I put this in at 7:30 p.m. because that's normally when premieres come out, but it doesn't matter, so I'm not even concerned about the house. But I did some digging, and I'm pretty sure that the movie premiered at 7:30 p.m. So if that's true, and it doesn't matter because the whole day encompasses all the houses. Venus is in house number 7, which it rules house number 7 because house number 7 is Libra, which is partnerships. And that's what Bill Murray formed with Andy McDowell to get out of the loop, or so he thought he got out of the loop. Well, Venus is in gate 37. Venus, for the release of Groundhog Day, Jesus, is in Pisces, the fish, in gate number 37, in zodiac sign number 7, which is Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus. And gate 37 is the gate of the family. We are family. Here it is on the Astro-Alchemical Cosmic Code chart. There it is. And again, see, if you use the tropical human design, it's not going to come out this way. This is the accurate human design. Venus is in gate 37, the gate of family. Pisces, the fish, ruled by Poseidon. And this, through Hebrew, are the 12 tribes of Dan. The 12 tribes, and it starts in Virgo because Rosh Hashanah starts in the season of Virgo. Virgo starts first, of course, because Virgo is the largest constellation, Tishrei. Well, Pisces is Gad, which if you remove that A, it's God. Gad. I'm going to come back to this, but let's go to the numerology of Groundhog Day, February 4th, 1993. What's the life path? The Gregorian. It adds up to 118. 118 is Tartarus and Christos. Christos is tied to the prison. You would never think that because it's told that it will set you free. Trojan horse. Tartarus, the prison, the Titans, stuck in the prison. This is why the sons of God mated with the women. That story. It's why Adam chased Eve, the male chasing the female. Sex, sex, sex. (118). And then you go where the sun position is. Now you get to the Christos itself, the sun. The sun on February 4th, 1993 is in Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn sun. If you're born on February 4th, you're a Capricorn sun. And what's conjunct with that? Kronos, the timekeeper. Along with Mercury, the way you think, the scribe. Remember, Mercury's tied to terbium, the compact disc. In Capricorn, the 10th sign through tropical. The 10 stuck in time, the binary system. Remember the Anahata tied out to the 10 of hearts? Well, the card for February 4th is the trapped card. You're trapped in time. You are love stuck in time. You are love and light stuck in time. This is the samsara wheel, the prison of the Titans. Here's the chart. The 8 of spades sits in the Zeus Kronos line, the expansion of time. That's what it means. This is the expansion of time, not being able to get out of it. 8 is the Taurus field. And there's the Titan. This is one of the cards tied to the Titan. Titanium. The Titan trapped in time. And that's Groundhog Day. Trapped in a loop. Well, let's bring some Chinese into this. Those of you that fancy the Chinese zodiac, I do. The movie came out in 1993. That's the water rooster. And the rooster is the 10th Chinese zodiac sign. And so you just easily marry it with the 10th tropical sign, Capricorn. Of course, the rooster tells you when the sun's coming, and the sun's in Capricorn, where the rooster's domain is. This is fascinating because Daniel Rubin, who wrote the book, he wrote the screenplay for it, was born in 1957. Couldn't find any other information on it, but I didn't need it. He was born under the fire rooster. He is Daniel, Danny. And I'm going to go back here and show you. It's the tribe of Dan, Capricorn. The tribe of Dan, Capricorn. His name is Danny. The rooster is Chinese zodiac sign number 10, Capricorn. Capricorn is the prison of time. See how easy it is when you just know how to connect it? And he's Jewish. I didn't write this. All I have to do is just code break it. So this is where it gets interesting. And again, you can look at many different layers beyond this, but you have Saturn, Kronos, here, conjunct with the sun. Light stuck in time with the scribe there. Well, Kronos is directly across, literally directly across from Chiron. See the line? Like literally directly across. And Chiron is the son of Kronos. Directly across from it. Chiron is your wound. It's a big placement in your astrology chart. So there's Capricorn, and I want to be clear, the 12 tribes of Dan, of DNA, the 12 tribes of Judah, they start with Virgo, with the sun setting and the moon rising. They go this way. That's why Pisces is sign number 7, because the sun goes down into the underworlds. Their Passover's done when it's a full moon and the sun is setting. And then the sun rises in Pisces, sign number 7, which is ruled by Poseidon, the god of earth. So because this is Chiron and Kronos, father and son, and they're directly across from each other, I mean, this is perfect. I went and I looked at, on the master life spread, what it would look like as a storyboard. Well, your Kronos card is right here. Here's the February 4th card, and it's Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Kronos. And your Chiron card is card number 9. So it's the 3 of clubs. This is mine. This is my Kronos and my Chiron card because this is my birth card. And why am I here to tell you that you're in a prison and this is Groundhog Day? And why did Groundhog Day come out on my birthday? I'm not in on some big conspiracy. Well, this is what it looks like from the cards and the tarot and chemistry. From Chiron, the sun, and Kronos. Is that the Chiron card is duality. This is my Chiron card. The 5 of diamonds, card number 31. This is card number 69. This is duality, the yin yang, and element number 15, which has the 31 as the isotope, phosphorus. It's tied to Lucifer through the Greek. Phosphorus means light. Light. And phosphorus is one of the elements tied to the 5 elements that make up DNA. And what about the Kronos card? Well, it's the 16th card tied to the 25th card. And now it's tied to adventures and oxygen. You start to breathe the air. And then you have the sun card here, titanium. So what this is saying is you're a titan trapped, going on an adventure in duality, and you're a light being breathing oxygen. That's what this looks like here. It's so magical based on the freaking chart for Groundhog Day. And there's many more. You could do the moon and Mars, and you should be doing all these. You could do this all through the Spotlight course. You can figure out exactly what you're doing here. These 3 elements, when you say them, they add up to 106, titanium, oxygen, and phosphorus. Again, the Titan, who is on an adventure in duality, breathing oxygen, and a light being, slowed down into physical matter. Well, 106 is exactly the numerology of the 2 base pairs of our DNA. These are just clues. I live in a part of Mexico where the latitude longitude is 20 degrees north, 86 degrees east or west. I'm on a latitude longitude right now that has 106. Yep, right now, where I live in Puerto, Mexico. Accident? Did I consciously choose that? No, it chose me. So here is another extension of that Kronos and Chiron. Remember, this is father and son. You have Capricorn. This is the value of tropical. It's the 10th sign. And Leo is the 5th sign. And so you have 105, which is this. This is off of Tron Legacy. This is Jeff Bridges telling his son, the only way to win is not to play. Not to play. Don't play. It's not playing. DNA. It's not doing things of the flesh. It's not doing this. I'm not saying don't do anything in your life. But I am telling you celibacy is the way to win. I do know that. And this is the Yah. See, the Yah is the 105. Remember, it's the Yam. The Anahata is the Yam, the symbol of Yam. And I did the timestamp. I paused it right at when he finishes saying the only way to win is not to play. That adds up to 26. It's his game now. That's what he says to his son Sam. It's his game now. The only way to win is not to play. I'm not saying that Tron has the authority on this, but again, these are clues that you look at. People are being used to create these movies, and there are clues. This is the forensics left behind. So there you go. Groundhog Day decoded again. What did you think? That was a long one. Probably the longest live I've done with comments. All right, let's get into some of your comments. And I'll cover a few here. Monette asks, what if we don't want to play anymore? Then stop playing. What does it mean to not play anymore? I'm telling you right now, relationships and sex and all that, throw it out the door. I want to be clear because I know a lot of you are in relationships. You would be exempt from what I'm saying. It doesn't pertain to you because obviously you're going to back up. You're going to justify you being in the relationship. And let's be clear here, man. Your role is number one. My role is subordinate to your role. My role is insignificant in your life. Your life is what matters the most. So if you have a way, if you found the forensics in your life, and I've done countless readings, and I mean, if you have kids, you were supposed to have kids. So how can it be wrong when we say right or wrong? But if you're somebody who is not in a relationship and you feel like you don't belong here anymore and you're celibate and you've given up the practices of the flesh and you know, you're living a simple life and all that stuff. I'm not saying this is the cookie cutter way, but it's what I'm doing. I'm not saying it's the cookie cutter way, but I just showed you over an hour of presentation of slides showing you that you're in a trap. And the way to guarantee it, if there is a way of guaranteeing reincarnation, is playing the game through the pleasures of the flesh, especially sex. Especially sex. So, I mean, maybe you're somebody who's married, who's not. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider here. Like if you're married, you would justify, well, we're married and, we're not supposed to deny each other sex because now you're going into biblical principles, which I'm not going to deny you of. That's what most people say. Don't deny your partner. We have sex drives. See, to me, that's the devil, man. Sex, because people get crazy off of it. And then if you do anything like drink or substances, you're less in tune with the normality of life. You're easily can be persuaded when you do substances. You can sin more in a way, right? So I'm not going to take away anything for any of you that are parents, that are married. Keep doing you, because I know that, I'm a fan of life. I am. Like, I'm grateful for my life. And I know that children are going to create the future. So of course it's a gift. Aren't you a gift? So if you're a parent, man, you incarnated to pump out a kid or kids, and maybe that kid's going to grow up and save the world one day, and life's going to keep going. Even if there are some of us that aren't going to come back, people are going to come back and they're going to play this game of life again. And I can't prove that I'm not going to come back. I can't support that at all. It's just a theory. But irregardless of my position or any of your positions out there, children will always be made with procreation because that's what keeps the game going. And that position is much more powerful than mine because mine is a very boring position. My position is one that is very lame in a way. And mine does not allow the creation to keep going because I didn't have kids. I'm not having kids. So I'm saying to all of you, whether or not we're stuck in a soul trap or Groundhog Day, I already know we're living in a scripted reality. That means that you can't make a mistake per se. You'll beat yourself up over these mistakes. Some of you, you'll feel guilty. The alleviation of that is realizing you're living through fate and destiny, and it is more important than any of my positions. It's more important than anybody else's positions. So if you have kids, stick with that. If you're married, stick with that. Don't listen to what I'm saying. My opinion is meaningless in your life. I'm merely presenting to you what I'm doing. And I'm making it clear it's not cookie cutter. For sure. But for me, it's about, passing through, kind of dipping my toe in the water, not because I definitely submersed myself completely. Done some crazy things over my life, but now I live the opposite, like very simple. I mean, I just look at life way differently than I used to. The different lens. I'm not a fan of suffering. See, that's the thing is if you're a parent and you're somebody who's not a parent and you're thinking about having a kid, I would just want to gently remind you, you're on the hook for their suffering. Because if you willingly put a kid out into this world, there is a guarantee that they're going to punch their ticket of suffering. So you're responsible for that, scripted or not. I know that offends some people, but how could it be any other way? Part of your script anyway. So if you just feel like you're going to have a child, just know it's just like a puppy or a cat. If you get a cat or a dog, you're going to go through the death of them and you're going to go through a lot of pain and excruciating suffering. Some of you. Is it worth it? Because you'll say, yeah, I want to love. I want to feel that compassion. That's the draw. The draw is I want to pull on my heartstrings. I want to experience love and joy and bliss. I'm going to go get myself a dog or a cat, or I'm going to make a baby. Well, I can guarantee you that you punch the ticket to their suffering. It's just the way it is. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's just the way life is. It's very freeing, man, when you I have this saying that ascension is severing ties with complexity. See, when you wake up alone, that doesn't mean you're lonely. It just means you're alone. And I'm not lonely. Me, I'm not personally. And I'm as free can be. Because it's just me. I mean, yeah, I got friends. I got people that I care for. Yep, for sure. But I know that their suffering is not my suffering. Doesn't mean I'm not compassionate. Still am. But I know if I had a kid, it's the ultimate suffering. And then there's the flip. There's like, oh yeah, but all these, it's the ball games and growing up and watching them. Yeah, that's the yin-yang principle playing out. That's the yin-yang principle. So it's not doom and gloom. It's both suffering and pleasure. We live in a world of pain and pleasure. I'm cool with the pleasure. I like to take the plane ride, but I don't sign up for the turbulence. If you get into a relationship, do you sign up for the arguments? No. Do you actually say, you know what, today I'm going to wake up and argue with my significant other? I think I'm going to do that today. No, you don't do that. So why do arguments happen? And don't tell me this thing, oh, it's about growth and all this bullshit. Why can't you grow without debating and arguing? Of course you can grow without arguing. There's always growth going on. I'm not somebody who agrees with that Debating and arguing and having conflicts in relationships allows you to grow. Well, I say you can grow without them, and you do. And I know that you wouldn't sign up for the conflicts. So why go through them? That's just part of life. Well, because it's your fate and destiny, of course. Monica O'Brien, do I still have a cat? I actually have multiple cats. They're not mine, though. They're outdoors. They don't sleep in here. There's no litter box in my place. I feed them. I feed the strays. I feed animals here. That's where I have a lot of pleasure in my life. As I get to, and that's where, you kind of be a compassionate. I like animals. They don't argue with you. That's the great part about animals. You're not going to get into an argument with them. Samantha Mileto, do I believe in soulmates? Yeah, we have many soulmates. Your best friend is your soulmate. A close friend of yours is a soulmate. I would even say that the people that you talk to on a regular basis, those are soulmates. Not so much the acquaintances, but the people that you talk to in your circle, those are your soulmates, male and female. For sure. Donna Harper says, you cause suffering whether you have kids or not. It's a fact of life. Yeah. And I would imagine you have kids, Donna, which is why you're defending your position of being a parent. And I get it. I totally get it. You're standing up for your position, which you should be doing. And I agree with you. We all cause suffering. But it's just a matter of the gradient of suffering. How much suffering do we cause? Again, I think if every parent knew that you're going to bring a child into this world, into this crazy world, and there's no control over that, and your child is guaranteed to suffer, I think people would think twice about having children. As my conscience, I couldn't sit here and say, you know what? I think I'm going to bring a child into this world knowing that it's going to suffer. I don't think myself. I don't think logically and with a good conscience could do something like that. And I would bet my life that the majority of parents here, you weren't thinking that way when you had a kid. So don't beat yourself up for it. Again, my opinion is meaningless. I would bet that every parent here was not thinking, well, I wonder if the child's going to suffer when I bring him into this world. No, you weren't thinking that. And it was your destiny anyway. So you don't need to defend it. All you need to go do is do you. That's it. And if you had a child, your child may grow up and save the world one day. There's amazing beauty in that. I tell everybody I do a reading for, hey, if you got children, great, let's look at your kids because your kids could grow up and save the world one day. You did that. So there's the beautiful aspect of it. Somebody's going to save the world. Why not it be your child? If I was a parent, I'd be doing the decode on my kids. I'd be looking at every single way I could possibly look at on what their blueprint is so I could parent that child around that. Which is why we created the Spotlight course, because you can decode anybody, you can decode your children, pets, all that stuff. So you have a way of, because this is what your destiny is. So if you had kids, it was part of your destiny. Are you squeezing every drop you can? Not just raising the child. Are you learning about how they are coded? Squeezing every drop you can out of those kids that you put into this world. I would hope so. The Jeffro says, how can I tell my brain to not chase tail? Simply by not doing it. So the thing is, lady, there's a huge contradiction to this. Or a paradox. There is a thing in astrology where when you look at your chart and you look how you're coded. Like I've done countless readings, and I've done readings for people that are wealthy. And I clearly can see it in their charts. And then they tell me what they do. And I say, oh yeah, there it is. So is it wrong to be wealthy? No, this person is supposed to be wealthy. What are you going to do with the money? Well, you're going to create businesses, or you're going to create wealth for other people. If you're somebody who's like a contractor, or you're a builder and you build hotels, or you build apartments, or you build housing complexes, you're going to put families in those complexes, and those families are going to make babies, and those families are going to create money, and it's for the greater good, right? You're creating for the future. This is how people are designed. Some people are not like, I'm a minimalist. It's a very small percentage. It's a boring lifestyle compared to people that are getting out there and doing, expansion and doing what their code is. Your code is all that matters, folks, not anybody else's, but you got to study your code and confirm it, well, if you want to. So if you have a high sex drive, I'm not going to tell you not to go chase women or more men. I know some of you have a high sex drive. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing that. Maybe you're not designed to not do that. Maybe you're not designed to be celibate, because there may be a penalty attached to someone like yourself who has a high sex drive, or you just have this eye for male or female, and you just got to get some, you just got to have sex, you just got to have orgasms. Maybe you're designed that way. And that's what works for your code. And everything that I've presented here of being in a trap is irrelevant. So there is that, the Jeffro, but then there's also, you said that it should be easier said than done. Yeah, that's all life in its totality. Should be easy to eat cleaner. It should be easier to drink this and do that. But the easier said than done, right? But you got to start somewhere. Again, I look at it, sex, I look at it as if I get into a relationship with somebody, I'm going to give them, they're going to take on my problems. Even this. Like, I got challenges in my life. I don't want to burden you with my challenges. And I know, yeah, but I'll take them on. Yeah, for how long before you start complaining about it? Maybe you won't say anything, because we all do it. It's all great in the beginning, and then when the wheels fall off, and they always do to some degree, then there's complaining, and then there's bickering, and then there becomes the arguments and the debating. I don't want to give you my challenges in life. I don't think that's fair. These are the things that I think about with relationships and sex and all that stuff. When you have sex with somebody, you're exchanging energy, you're taking on their energy, they're taking on your energy. You have no idea how many people they've been with. You have zero idea. They could tell you, I've only been with 2 people, and they're lying through their teeth because people want to look good. So it's a roll of the dice. You don't know if you're going to catch something. You don't know. There's no guarantee on any of that stuff. But there is a guarantee that you won't get this or that. You won't have these attachments. You won't take on the energy of other people if you don't engage in that. That you know for sure. You know that there will be no suffering other than yours if you do not produce another child and bring that child into this world. That's one less person that has to suffer. You know that to be true. These are the things that I think about personally. All right. Stevie 81, I never wanted to have kids, but had twins by accident. So for me, there's no accident. There was your fate and destiny. So go raise the children as best as you can. Have you decoded them? Have you studied them? Do you know what their fate and destiny is? See, it helps you as a parent to become the best parent possible. So it's all coming around. The age of Aquarius astrology is coming back, numerology, tarot cards, numbers, all that. It's going to become a thing. It's going to become popular because people want to know I'm coded a certain way. Yeah, they want to know. Scripted or not, they want to know, especially as a parent and parenting the child. You want to squeeze every drop you can out of being a parent. Donna Harper's asking, the thing is, Logan, you have been married 3 times, so I don't think you consciously chose not to have kids. There's no choice. In my life, there was no choice. I've already supported it a million times over personally, which I'm not going to bore you with. I'm not asking you to believe me. But I can tell you with authenticity that I have no control over my life. My life is scripted. It has been scripted from the day I can go back as a child. So me not having children was not my choice. It was my destiny. And this, for me, I'm not coming, like I'm just passing through. If you want to go watch a good movie about, if you feel this way, if you resonate with what I'm saying, go watch 11/22/63, the show. It's an 8-part series with James Franco. That show did it for me. That was like speaking, you know how shows and movies, they're like, you feel like they're just talking directly to you? That show talked directly to me. And it was about time travel, but it was about love, and it was about you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be biting the apple. The pleasures of the flesh. You're not supposed to be doing that. This is for me. Now, the message was, so now this is, and I feel the most comfortable, I feel the most free, but it's a very small group, and I don't expect you to understand. Hector Flores says, enjoy life. I do. I squeeze every drop every day. I love it. It's just it may be boring to some people because I'm not doing what you would do, but I enjoy life. I squeeze every drop I can. Sacred Syntax says, I see my code. I have the family, the mortgage, the corporate job. I've tried to escape or ascend. No. I'm here. Maybe you'll ascend to a different dimension. Maybe you'll go to 5th density. There is this thing playing around where you have other people saying you're going to ascend to 5D reality. You have Dolores Cannon, David Wilcox, Corey Good, all that stuff. I don't follow those things. I just hear it. The law one, you're going to either graduate to 51. You have to be 51% service to others. You'll graduate. So there's that layer of it. And that may be the final frontier. I don't know. Maybe we'll see all each other in 5th density. Maybe that's where we're all going to go. Maybe we never get out of this reality. Despite what I'm saying here, despite what I'm talking about sex and procreate, maybe we never get out. It's possible that could be the case. Time will tell. Maybe we're never going to remember anyway. So it's irrelevant. And all this is just good for entertainment. I don't know. Luniverse says, 100% agree. I have no children, never wanted them, single and free, minimal suffering. Yeah, that's how I live my life. I'm on board with that completely. The least amount of suffering that I can produce with a carbon footprint, that's where I'm at. Even, I've talked about this before. I mean, I have this issue with these little, the little pharaoh ants, the brown ants, the most common ants, they're called pharaoh ants. They are extraordinary creatures. I don't even know how they find food, man. They find it here in my place. And they keep me on my toes. And I can't tell you, I'm a killer, man. I have killed so many of those things, and by accident. And sometimes I've broken down. I gotten emotional over it because they were in my sink. I turned my water on. I had no idea. And they all drowned. Can you imagine drowning a whole bunch of ants? Why are their lives not as important as my life? I've said this before on this channel. What's worse? Killing an ant or kicking a baby? Which one's worse? Drowning a whole bunch of ants in my sink or kicking a baby in the head? A newborn baby. Which one's worse? Well, I'm not going to answer that for you. But really, which one's worse? Why are the ants' lives, they don't matter? Oh, because there's a whole bunch of them and they'll get replaced and there's 1 million under the ground and so what? And we justify all that. We're killers, man. We are stone cold killers. So I'm in the bathroom sometimes and I got toilet paper and I ran the sink and I'm like, oh damn, they're in my sink and I'm trying to save them with toilet paper. Every life's matter. All lives matter. But then there's sometimes I come in and I'm there, you know, I can't leave any food scraps, any little bit of food scraps in my kitchen sink, forget it. And so sometimes I wake up and I forget, I'm tired, whatever, and they're all in my sink. And so I have to slam my sink, bam, 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 and they'll start to scatter. And then I grab the food and I throw it in the garbage and I let them all go back home. Because I could easily turn the water on and just wipe them all out, but I'm going to kill them and they're going to drown. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's humanitarian? You could chalk it up a million different ways, man. So I'm about reducing my footprint on being a killer because we're all killers. You walk outside, you're killing things and you don't even know it. You can't help it. We're swatting mosquitoes and get out of here, housefly. When the next time you go kill a housefly with that fly swatter, well, what's worse? You go kick a baby. Would you go kick a baby? No, but you'll have no problem grabbing a fly swatter and killing that housefly. And you'll justify it. I get it. We all do it. Some of you will put it in a glass and take it outside. That's cool. That's reducing the footprint. But we are killers, man, in this reality. And you can't avoid it. But it's when you're consciously aware of it. And then if I have emotional suffering to ants, I would never bring a baby into this world knowing that child's going to suffer way worse. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Consciously, I don't have the conscience to do it. So how do I avoid that? Don't have sex. Don't have to worry about it because there's always a chance. There's always a chance of making a baby when you engage with somebody. Just so you can get your orgasm. So it's a selfish thing. Well, I'll just wear a rubber. We'll just do work. She's on the pill. So it's a selfish thing then. So it's an ego thing. Yeah, because I got to have an orgasm. I have to get off. Okay, I get that. But there's a chance that you have a baby and you bring another child in this world and they got to suffer. And I consciously, for me, I can't do that. So it's a matter of reducing your footprint. Yeah, life is not fair, Desert Rat. Agreed. We live in pain and suffering, man. We live in hell. It can be beautiful. Little Sidhi, are you defending your... I'm not defending my position. I'm just expressing my position. You could say I'm justifying my position, just like if you're a parent, you're going to justify your position as a parent. My opinion is meaningless in your life. My position is not popular. It's not. There's no pop in my life when it comes to the colorful life of being a parent, and a pet owner, and having materialism. And my life is not that. But I don't defend my position. Crypto Lalo, have I decoded Antarctica? I have not. It's challenging to decode that place. Donna Harper says, we're scripted to suffer in certain ways. Go with the flow. That's all you can do is go with the flow. That's it. It's really kind of magical. Go with the flow. There's nothing you can do other than that. All right, I think we're going to end this live. Take a few more questions here. Donna Harper, do you live thinking of how you'll, I don't know if you're directing this to me, do you live thinking of how you'll die? Postulate it. How am I going to go out? How is it that I'm going to go out? And I think about this, maybe you do too. Do you go to bed at night and thinking, maybe I won't wake up? Maybe this is it. Maybe this is my last night. And maybe you'll never know about it. I don't know, but when I wake up, I'm grateful. I live a life of gratitude. I'm grateful for my minimalism. I'm grateful for the cats that I get to feed. I'm grateful for the water that I drink. I'm grateful for my air conditioner. Every time I wake up and I shut my air conditioner off, I thank it. When I'm making my bed every day, I'm thanking my sheets and my bed and my pillow. I'm grateful for the bicycle that I have. I have a beater bicycle. It's a beater bicycle. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful every time I swipe my card and use it for my bank. I'm in that flow state when I go to the grocery store and I pay for my items. I thank my bank all the time now because I'm in the flow of that. I'm in a state of gratitude of being here. Simple. That's it. I'm grateful when I take a shower. I have solar panels on this building. Well, my landlord does. And I envision the solar panels. And then I envision the sun. And I thank the sun for heating the solar panels up, for heating the water in the tank, and giving me that really comfortable shower. Are you in that state of mind? You don't have to be, but this is what I do on the daily. I put my hands over my food and I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank my taste buds. Because if without my taste buds, I wouldn't taste the food. How important are the taste buds on your tongue? I have a lot of my body parts named. I talk to them. Normally when I go to the bathroom, I'm thinking, I've named my bladder. It's got a name. My kidneys are named. I give them acknowledgement every time I go to the bathroom for working correctly, for doing its job. That's that's where I'm at in my life. And I can do that because my life's simple. I don't have a complex life. And the less complexity I have, the more acknowledgement I can give to my surroundings. But if you have a busy life, I get it. Because when you're busy, hey, you got phone calls, you got people, and this. Where's the time to be grateful? You got to get into the habit of that, and it takes practice. All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. I really appreciate each and every one of you for being here. For being a part of the community over at Patreon, for taking the Spotlight course. Even just the gateway, even the free section. Thank you for participating. For me, it's about changing the course of humanity by way of my destiny, and it's about allowing people to see how they're coded, children especially. I'm super grateful for it. Wherever it goes, I have no expectations. I really don't. Expectation causes suffering, so I don't really have any. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's really been an honor and a pleasure here to serve you. We're closing in on 48,000 subscribers. I don't care about that, but that's where we're at in this channel. The growth here in this channel has been turtle mode. You could say that something's stopping this thing from moving. This channel here, I don't know, but the growth is just like plummeted. It's all just the things that I observe. Not that it matters. Like the shadow ban, like people say, you're being shadow banned. Then that's what was supposed to happen. I don't have expectations of it, but I'm grateful that we're going to hit 48. We're going to get to 50. I'm grateful for that. By the way, February of next year, if we make it that far, we're going to be speaking at Acapulco in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. It's a whole week. If you want to come and join that. It was a lot of fun. I'll be doing tarot readings for the majority of the time I'm there, besides the presentation I get to do on stage. That's going to be a lot of fun. Puerto Vallarta, I think it's the middle of February. I think Jason Brashears told me he's going to invite me to his event in Houston. I don't know if it's going to interfere or be at the same time as the event in Acapulco in Puerto Vallarta. Hopefully not, because I will be there in Houston. So that'll be cool. All right. So that's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let's play a good song that I like to play. The great Billy Idol. Let's do, where is it? Can't find it now. I was going to play a song and I can't find it. Give me a second here. And I'll let all of you great code breakers talk amongst yourselves like usual. Can't find it. All right, well, I guess we're not playing that because I can't find it. Oh, here it is. This is one of my favorites, man. Flesh for Fantasy. Billy Idol. This is the Dim Zach remix. This is what I feel life is all about, right? You get a fantasy, but you got to turn into flesh. Maybe this is a vacation place for spirit. I don't know. It's fun to think about. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I appreciate you joining in here. That's all I got for today. My name is Logan for Decode Your Reality. Until next time, we will see you later.
There's a change of pace of fantasy and taste. Do you like good music? Do you like to dance? Oh yeah. Hanging out for a body shop at night. Ain't ashamed what we do to feel alright. Oh yeah. When will you come? I'm experienced. Oh yeah. Face to face, I'm back to back. You see and feel my sex attack. Rush, rush for fantasy. We want rush for fantasy. It's after midnight. Are you feeling alright? Oh yeah. Turn out the light, babe. Are you someone else tonight? Name the neighbor, door to door. Don't ask questions, time for it all. Oh yeah. Face to face, I'm back to back. You see and feel my sexual track. Sing it. Rush, rush for fantasy. for fantasy. Do you like good music? Or do you like to dance? It's nearly morning. You wanna risk a chance? Neighbor to neighbor, door to door. Enjoy the crime, you do your time. Never been nothing before.